Well, here we are, a beautiful morning in Rockaway, New Jersey. Not too bad, a little cold for my taste, but I guess we'll be going down south next week anyway. But anyway, here we are in the driveway, and we got the car plugged in to our Hyundai Charger here with the J1772 adapter. Now this is the 120 volt adapter, and as you can see, we got it plugged in right over here to the charging box. And of course, that is plugged into our aforementioned FlexZilla cable here with the 12 gauge wire. And this has been plugged in for probably about 30-40 minutes now, and nothing, not warm, not even warm. I mean, you can't even tell that there's any current going through this. Much better than those cheapy 14 gauge or even those 16 gauge, man, that's scary, cable that you can buy. But we got this just routed along the pathway here and right up into a standard outdoor wall outlet where this will stay for pretty much this entire week, and we'll be able to charge the car from there. All right, good morning, everybody. Well, it is, what time is it? 6:30 almost. We are leaving New Jersey, or heading out right now, and we are looking at about, hopefully only about a 10-hour drive today. 96% state of charge is what we're leaving at, and we got a little bit of a leg in front of us. I can't remember what it is, to Allentown, but then the big one after that to Carlisle. So we got a little bit ahead of us to go, but it's early, it's beautiful weather so far, and hopefully the rest of the day will be the same. All right, we'll see you at the first charger. All right, first stop of the day, Allentown, Pennsylvania. So we are back here. Let's take a look at our stats here. All right. Let's see, we traveled, let's see, 68 miles basically. About an hour and a half of driving there. And we left with like 96%, 57. So only about 40% to go. That almost 68 miles there, so pretty good. We're gonna go ahead and fill up the car now and get it started, and we'll be out of here shortly. Now we got the long haul to Carlisle, which should be about 94 miles, and then we'll have to fill up there again and keep heading on out. So stay tuned, here we go. All right, let's see how our first charge of the day goes here. Let's take these covers off. Using the same charger we did the other day when we were here. All these cables are pretty stiff this morning. There we go. It's only about 60 degrees outside right now. Here we are connecting to vehicle. All right. And processing payment. Authorized. There we go, initiating charging. So the battery should be warmed up relatively good at this point, considering we drove for quite a bit. So it is cool outside, so the battery won't need some additional cooling, or at least not much of it. So we should be able to just get peak speeds right away. And let's see what we're looking at here. And we are going to fill up all the way to, well, full would be 94% on these, as we know from our previous trip. So here we are 19, 20, 21, 24, and yeah, it's going. 38, 40, 42, yep. So there's no slowing this car down. It's gonna go right up to 60, probably 62, and then 63, yep, there we are. And it'll probably eventually hit 66 eventually, but we got a little bit of time here. We gotta go from 58 to 94. So we're gonna go ahead and probably run into a store, use a restroom, and finish up our trip to the next, well, to Carlisle at least. So as we are finishing up the charge here, 87%, something I noticed is that it says requested by your vehicle 22, and on this side it actually says current charge speed. So I like how they give you the fact that it shows you what the current charge speed by the car is taking in versus what the actual charger is giving you. So it just goes to show you that it may not be the charger's fault if it slows down, it's actually what your car is requesting. So little tip there in case you ever come across that in the future, but that is two different numbers there, so, or can be two different numbers depending on your vehicle. But anyway, here we are, only $1.56, 12 cents per minute. It's Pennsylvania, I guess, is by the minute charging as opposed to a lot of other states which are by the kilowatt hour. But here we are, 88%. We're going to go straight up to 94 because we do have a long leg here, about 93, 94 miles. So we have to make that leg and make it to Carlisle. And then we'll see you there. All right, Allentown, Pennsylvania is done. We are charged up 94%. And we are heading to Carlisle, Pennsylvania now.
Is on the left.
Yes, thank you. So we are heading out to Carlisle. So that's why we need the full charge. So this way we do have like over 90 miles to get there. So we're heading out now, and we'll see you at the next charger. All right, here we are in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. So we made it here. Let's take a look. Oh, look, an Ioniq. That's funny. We're seeing so many of those now.
Yes, we are.
It's probably a hybrid, though. We don't see any of the electric ones around here. Pulling in. All right, so here we are, Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Let's see. So we did about 95 miles. We had to take a quick detour off the 78 highway because Google said that there was some traffic up ahead. So with that detour, we did about 95 miles and 31% battery left. So we used about 63% battery for those, 95 miles. And most of that was highway 65, 70 the whole way. So made good timing. We made good mileage. So now we're going to get here and fill up the car and head on back out. We'll see you very soon. All right, we are done here at Carlisle. We picked up some beef jerky because somebody wanted it. So we got some snacks for the road. We are heading to Hagerstown, Virginia at this point, which is great. We're already doing pretty well. We're already going to be in Virginia at the next point. I just stopped the charge at 84% because we only got to go about 62 miles, and we'll be all set from there. So here we go. All right, so we just made it to Hagerstown, Virginia. Maryland. I said Virginia last time too. We are in Maryland. I incorrectly stated this as Virginia on the way up, but we are in Maryland. Anyway, 58.6 miles. We, let's see, 45% battery remaining. Just ridiculous. We cut it off at like 84%, so we only used like 39% to go almost 59 miles, so really good. But anyway, so we are here. We're gonna go get charged up, maybe get some lunch, depending on how we feel, and then off to the next one. So we'll see you in a little bit. All right, we just finished up our stop. We ended up charging up to 94% just because we went inside and got some lunch, sit down and eat for a couple minutes. And so we charged all the way up. We only have to go a short distance now, but you know, when we get there, it'll be a different stop than what we did on the way up to New Jersey. So it'll be a different charger for us. And we'll see how that goes. And then we have a long trip from there in Stevens City all the way to Fredericksburg. That'll be about 85 miles or so. And then, yeah, then we'll be close to done for the day. So we're gonna keep going, and we'll see you at the next charger. All right, short trip done. Here we are in Stevens City, Virginia. Never been here before, but other than passing through before. We had 64%. We will need to top off on this one because I think we have an 85-mile leg on the next section here. So we're going to top it off, and then we're going to start heading back east towards, I think Fredericksburg is the next stop for us. So we're just going to top off here. Charging has been great. I haven't had anything to report on the charging because it's been perfectly fine at all the chargers. It's been charging really quick. We've been getting back in the car, getting back on the road. We haven't had any traffic. Weather is beautiful. It's been a great trip so far. So
it's been nice.
It has been nice. It's a little too nice, actually. We're going to get to our hotel a little early. But we're going to keep going, and we'll see you at the next stop. Well, of course, I spoke too soon. The second we got here and plugged the car in, cabinet 3 would not connect to the vehicle. Swung around the cabinet 4, also would not connect to the vehicle. And then I was getting nervous, so then we moved over to cabinet 2, which was a 350 kilowatt cabinet, and it worked perfectly fine. And then as we came out of the gas station here, there was a gentleman here with a Chevy Bolt charging up, and we started talking, and I asked him if he used those cabinets. He had the same experience. So those cabinets are bad, and I did submit a ticket into Electrify America to take care of those for us. They might just have to be rebooted. But either way, we are back on the road and heading to Fredericksburg, which is about 85 miles away. So we will see you at that station.
Here we go.
All right, Spotsylvania, also known as Fredericksburg, I believe. So we are here.
Head southeast on Town Center Boulevard, then turn right.
Here we go. So we are here charging up. After this, we have Richmond, And then we are at the hotel for the night after Richmond. So we're going to just charge up enough here to get to Richmond, and then from here we'll deep charge in Richmond, and then this way we'll be ready for tomorrow morning. So we're going to go ahead and charge up. Let's see what we did here. We still have 42% battery, and I forget what the mileage was. I think it was like 85 miles or something like that. So we used about 50% battery and about 85 miles. Pretty good. Pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and get charged up here, and we'll see you at the next charging station. Spotsylvania charging. Really didn't mean to, but we ended up charging all the way up to, well, basically full by the time I stopped this video. But these chargers are located way at the back parking lot of Spotsylvania Mall, or whatever it's called here. I believe it's Spotsylvania Mall. So by the time you walk to the mall to do anything and then get back, well, your car's pretty much already charged. Or at least in this case with this Ioniq, because it just blows the competition away with its speed. But anyway, we're going to get going here in just a minute, and our next stop will be Richmond, Virginia. Richmond, Virginia charger. Here we are. Let's pull these tabs off, grab a handle. There we go. Pretty sure this is the same charger we were at on the way up. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, so we are clicked in. Let's see. Connecting to vehicle. Very good. That's what we want. And while that's connecting the vehicle, take a look at this. Oh, that's right. A Mach-E. It looks like a premium. Oh, I can't wait for mine. Hopefully only a few more months before I get mine. Let's go ahead and scan, processing payment, and we are cooking. Let's see if everything starts clicking and turning on. I hear some clicking. All right, there it is. It's already going. All right, very good. So we are going, and 67% like I said, and we are ramping up like usual. We don't need to see what it's going to do. We know what it's going to do. 66 kilowatts up until 80%. Then it'll taper down to about 22. It's getting warm out here today, probably in the high 70s by now. Sun's out, beautiful weather here. And yep, just like I anticipated, 64. It'll probably hit 65, 66 in the next few minutes. Anyway, we're going to finish up here in Richmond, and then we are heading out to Stony Creek is where we're spending the night. Alright, well, we made it to the hotel. It's been a long drive. Let's see, today was 456 miles total, and we averaged 5.6 miles per kilowatt hour, which is ridiculous. So, you know, we had a good day. We have, let's see, 68% battery life left.
We have to get to Emporia in the morning, which is about, I think, 30 something miles from here. We'll charge up there, and then we have 2 more charging after that, and then we are done. We'll be home. But anyway, this has been a good, smooth trip, so let's hope tomorrow is the same. So we will see you in the morning. Emporia, 20 miles. All right, well, good morning, everybody. We are back on the road again. It's about 8:30 in the morning here. We have a short jump to Emporia, Virginia, and then we have, I think, 2 more stops after that for the day, and then that's it. We are home. So we are just going to get to Emporia and go ahead and charge up, and then we've got a couple stops after that. So here we go. I think we got like 60 something percent battery left, so we got plenty of battery to get there. It's only 24 miles away, but yeah, let's go see how the car does. Last leg of the trip, practically. Alright, so while we're charging up here in Emporia, we're doing a little bit of math to see what we can do. So the next stop would be Rocky Mount, which is about 54 miles from here, which is nothing. The stop after that, which would be in, what was this called again? Let's see, Smithfield, North Carolina. That's saying that it's a 98-mile trip from here to there. So I think we could do 98 miles. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait till we get about 5 miles before the next exit, since that is almost exactly in between. And as long as we have, like, you know, 55-60% battery, I think we're just going to keep going for it all the way to Smithfield. So we'll completely cut out that charger in Rocky Mount. So we'll see. It's going to be mostly highway, so we're going to be, you know, not as efficient, but just getting from wherever we stayed last night to here in Emporia, about 30 miles, we were getting over 4 miles per kilowatt hour. So we're still doing really well. So we should very easily get, you know, over 120 miles on, you know, a battery at this point. So I think we'll be pretty good to do it. So we'll see. Well, when we get on the highway, we'll make the trip. And if we feel comfortable, we're going to go ahead and make the long trip and skip a charging session today.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, we'll go from there. But anyway, we're almost charged up here. We are at, let me look in the mirror here, was it 80%. So we're actually going to fully charge just in case we decide to do the long part of this trip. You know, you figure 94%, 98 miles, as long as we average about 1 mile per percent or slightly more, we should be perfectly fine. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that as we get closer, but we got about another 10 or 15 minutes here. Probably not even, probably about 10 minutes here to charge up to 94%, which is where this car cuts off at the DC fast chargers. And then from there, we'll be on our way, and we'll see what we're going to do. So stay tuned.
Well, as we charge deep into the pack, 85%, 22 kilowatts of energy going into that pack. We are waiting for this to finish, and while we're here, look what's still here. That Model Y, the one that we saw last week. That means they probably work here or something. And on the other side of us, we have this really nice Volvo XC40, I believe it is, Recharge, which is their electric one, charging up here at the Electrify America stations. Really nice. But we are going to be going here in a few minutes as soon as we hit 94%, and then we will be out on the road and hopefully making it to, hopefully making all the way to those outlets, skipping Rocky Mount in the way. But if not, we have our other option, which is Rocky Mount. We'll see you then.
All right, well, here we are just about 5 miles from the exit for Rocky Mount. So if we were to get to the Rocky Mount charger, we would have to get off here. Now, let's see what our state of charge is. I haven't even looked at it since the last time we updated you. 63%. So that means we'll be about 60% when we get to the exit, maybe even slightly more possibly, maybe a little less. Now, our guessometer here is saying that we have 89 current miles left. So let's say on worst case scenario, we're looking at about maybe 80. So if we're looking at 80 miles, the outlets are showing that they are, let's take a look here. Let Google do its thing. Oops.
Okay.
I just said Google do its thing. Okay. 48 miles. So that means we have about a 40-mile buffer, according to the guessometer, versus what Google is telling us. I think that's plenty of a buffer. I think that's plenty of a buffer. As long as we stay at our 65 miles an hour, as long as we don't go up to 70, I mean, at this point, we could probably even do 70, but as long as we don't go too fast, as long as we don't hit too much elevation going uphill, as I say that as we're climbing a hill, we should be more than fine. So I think we're going to go for it. We're going to go for it.
I think so.
The car's averaging
I'm a little
5...
nervous.
Oh, no, we'll be fine. The car is averaging 5 miles per kilowatt hour since we left this morning, since we left the hotel this morning. So, 4.9 now, we're going up a hill. But we're doing very well there. So I think we're going to go for it. So yeah, we'll update you as we get closer, and we'll see how low the battery is when we get there. I'm looking forward to this. All right, well, we made it to the Smithfield Premium Outlets on a single charge. It was about 98 miles, I believe, for the whole thing. So how did we do? 98 miles, it was pretty much all highway, other than the little bit that we got on and a little bit that we got off. We have 30 miles estimated range left, which means we ate into the buffer just a little bit. Because you remember, we had about 40, I think it was almost 42 when we initially thought about doing this. So we ate into the buffer a little bit. And the average miles per kilowatt hour is at 5, which means that didn't go any lower. So why is it that we lost some of that buffer? Well, probably because the battery management system, the BMS, is probably still adjusting a little bit while we drive. So that means that sometimes just because it says 40 miles of range doesn't mean you necessarily have 40 miles of range. You got to be careful with that, especially on highways. We did probably have a little bit of elevation, but once again, our average didn't really go down at all. So yeah, but we got here with 30 miles of range, which is 24% on the battery, which means that we have a pretty long charge here if we decide to stay that long. But I think our next stop is like 70 something miles. So we probably will have to charge it pretty deep in order for us to get back on the highway and do full speed again. But we're gonna go ahead and charge up here and see how we do. And let's see how the car charges at such a low state of charge. Not really that low, 24%, but lower than we've had it so far. Well, anyway, let's go take a look at that.
It's great to see. It's great to see the outlets actually with cars in it. Actually, people going to the stores and whatnot. Sorry about the music; it's a little loud over there. But anyway, we're plugged in. So I guess they're having a memorial or something over there by the Harley-Davidson area. Today is 9/11. Anyway, connecting to vehicle. There we go. Processing payment. Payment authorized. And everything is clicking away and starting to charge. So let's see how we do here.
All right, here we go. Let's click continue. Let's see where our charge is. All right, so that's what the vehicle is requesting right now. 18, 19, 20. Let's go over to the current charge speed. 33, 36, 8, 40. There we go. We're just cranking up. No surprise. No surprise. This car is ridiculous. And we're in the 60s already. So this car is going to start moving its way up into the mid 60s, even high 60s at a time. So we're going to go ahead and see that. And we're going to be charging here for a little bit, 25% at the moment. So let's go ahead and take a walk around and get our legs stretched out, and we'll be on the road again. All right, well, we got charged up all the way here pretty much, or 92% at least. We didn't mean to charge up that much, but you know, you walk around and we stopped in one store and then all of a sudden the car was charged up. Less than 20 minutes for us to charge this car up to 92% from 24%. Quite ridiculous. But anyway, our next stop will be Lumberton, North Carolina, which is our last DC fast charge stop on the trip. Then from there it is straight home. So we are making awesome time, especially after we skipped that charger in Rocky Mount, and we'll be heading home. Yeah, we'll be home in just a couple hours, so stay tuned. We're gonna keep going. All right, Lumberton, where it all started a little over a week ago when we did our first fast charge on this car. First DC fast charge ever, actually. Our first road trip started here. And now it's going to be ending here because this is our last stop until we are home. Woohoo! 43% battery remaining. I think we left at like 92 or something. So we did pretty well, only 50%. So we just got to do a quick charge up here. Probably almost about 90% again, just to make sure we get home. I think we have like 80 miles to get home. And that'll be about it. So we are, we're going to go ahead and charge up, and then we'll recap when we get home. We'll see you there. All right, well, we made it home. Let's look at some statistics here. So let's see. So total trip from New Jersey to here, 737 miles, a little bit more, almost 738. Average speed of 52 miles an hour over the course of those miles. 14 and a half hours driving. So pretty good. We averaged 5.2 miles per kilowatt hour today. And I think yesterday we were, where were we yesterday? So yesterday we had 5.6 miles per kilowatt hour. Today we had 5.2, so averaged out 5.4 miles per kilowatt hour on that return trip back, which is amazing. That's easily over 120 miles, 130 miles on a full battery charge in this car. So that was fantastic. So now that we're back, let's talk about pros and cons real quick. So let's talk about cons first. So what did you not like about road tripping the EV?
Not really.
what I didn't like.
Okay. So first EV that we bought, first EV road trip that we went on with it.
Yes.
Small battery EV, so we had to stop more often. So
Which
it was about
wasn't bad.
Which wasn't terrible. No, it was about 10 stops on the way up. A couple unnecessary because we weren't used to the car yet, so that's why we did a couple extra that we had to.
So it did take a little longer.
So it did take a little longer because of that, probably at least an hour, if not more. On the way back, we ended up skipping a couple of them, which was nice. We probably spent an extra 4 to 5 hours versus if we were to drive like a regular internal combustion engine car. But, you know, once again, we're talking about a small battery EV here. If we had a one that was a bigger battery, we wouldn't stop, you know, probably have a half as much. So then the, you know, 4 or 5 hours might be only like 2 hours extra that we would because we're driving an EV. But let's talk about cons. So specifically about the car, you know, once you get above 65, 70, the car does have a bit of a swaying to it. Probably due mostly to the tires because they're low rolling resistance tires. They probably have a bit of a sway when you're driving, you know, in excess of a certain speed. You kind of do feel it with this car. Yeah. That might be able to be fixed with a different type of tire, different set of tires. They do need to be changed. We have almost 30,000 on this car now. I mean, the charging was great. The charging was consistent. The charging was always fast, sometimes a little bit too fast because we were always like, don't have time to really do anything while we stopped. But that was a good thing because that got us back in the car and got us on the road quicker as well.
So it kind of balanced out.
It kind of balances out. You know, bigger battery EV would give us longer range, but longer time charging. So it might give us a little bit more time to do things at the stops, but, you know, not always the case necessarily. The charging network was good. We used Electrify America specifically because I wanted to test their network because they're the biggest in the country, because they have, you know, the fastest charging. Not that this car can handle the fastest charging, but we used them exclusively just due to the fact that it was easier to plan around them, and I wanted to see what they can do, and it did very well. I mean, we had absolutely no issues. We had at one charging station, both of those chargers were down that we tried, and then the other two worked though, so we were lucky. And then there was one other place where there was a couple chargers down. Yeah, in Carlisle, there's those 2 chargers that were down. It always seems to be the older chargers. The ABB units seem to be not as, I don't know, maintained as well as the newer chargers, or maybe just because they're newer, they're always better. But they might be in the works of trying to, you know, get rid of those old ones and put the new ones in to replace them. So they're not really trying to fix the old ones, depending on their demand. But I mean, the good thing, this car was amazing. It was comfortable. The seat could probably use a little bit more cushion on the bottom, but other than that, it was very comfortable. The dynamic radar cruise control, fantastic. It actually works really, really well in this car. And then I'll just talk about range. The range was stupid. I don't know how a car gets 125 miles EPA range rating, and that's 50% highway, 50% city. And yet this car can easily do 125 on the highway with about, you know, 75-80% of battery. We did 100 miles and only used, so we used 70% in 100 miles. So we still had 24% battery left, and we had already gone almost 100 miles. I think it was like 98 miles. So yeah, I was thoroughly impressed with that. So that was great. What about you? Anything exciting, fun?
It was all of it. It was exciting and fun, and I enjoyed the ride. So it was good. It was comfortable.
Good.
And didn't have any had maybe a little bit concerns of not making it to a charger.
Yeah, and I did as well in the beginning, you know, because we were using a better route planner to schedule out the whole trip, and you know, that was being very I don't know, I guess it was assuming the car wasn't get as good of a range. So there was a couple times where it said you're leaving at 90% and then you're getting there with 5. And that was
scary.
concerning when it was like, wow, that's a long leg of the trip that we have to be kind of careful on, because if you miss an exit, that's doesn't give you much breathing room. But it turned out that 5 was actually more like 35 in certain circumstances. So once we got more used to the vehicle itself, it was easier to make those routes up kind of as we go. And on the way back, we almost didn't use a better route planner at all because we were having some issues with it. And it was just easier to kind of map our own chargers out. And actually, we were using Electrify America's Android Auto app as well now, and that was okay. It needs a little bit of work, but it was okay. But it was giving us the ability to go in and choose a favorite station, click on it, and then it would just run us into the Google Maps, which just gave us directions to the charger, which actually worked really well. A better route planner sometimes has these really weird ways of going through like back roads and towns and cities, and it was just kind of a bit too much sometimes. But other than that, it's been great. It was fun. We're gonna go ahead and sign off here. Thank you very much for watching. If you didn't subscribe to the channel yet, please subscribe just below. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up just below. Check us out on our website, techmotoring.com, on Twitter @techmotoring, facebook.com/techmotoring. I'd like to thank you very much again for watching, and I guess that's about it, right? And always remember, welcome to the future.
Welcome to Tech Motoring.
Hey, somebody got it. We'll see you all in the next episode. Thank you very much.